What's going on, everyone? My name is Eric and this is the Get Me Out of Here vlog. I am in Door County, Wisconsin. First time ever being here. It's a beautiful peninsula that stretches out into Lake Michigan, one of the Great Lakes of North America. And I am standing outside the Door County Maritime Museum in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. Gonna learn all about the ships that sailed the Great Lake of Michigan. So follow me, let's learn more about this region here in Door County and what they have in store for the culture here on the Great Lakes. Follow me. Well, you look at this lifeboat sitting right outside the museum here. It's a fully enclosed lifeboat manufactured by Watercraft America Incorporated in 1978. It says this fully enclosed lifeboat was installed on the Edwin H. Gott shortly after its completion. It can hold 44 people, and it actually is designed to withstand hurricanes. Pretty incredible. The Edwin H. Gott has the distinction of being the largest freighter ever built in Sturgeon Bay. I just noticed the weather vane above the museum is in the shape of a ship. Before walking in the entryway, it looks like there's a shark standing guard or some kind of large fish. I don't think there's sharks in the Great Lakes. I know bull sharks can live in fresh water, but I don't think there's any sharks in the Great Lakes. We'll find out. Apparently, here is the entryway, Door County Maritime Museum. Open daily. About to enter the gallery. I love the stained glass window here showing the bridge that is right outside this museum. And look at all of this history of ships, vessels on the Great Lakes. Beginning with hollowed out canoes with the Native Americans. In the early 1600s is when the French fur traders started coming through these parts. And then in the mid-1800s is when a lot of the European white settlers started showing up here in the peninsula. Door County became a popular place for shipbuilding because of its lush forests. Lots of sawmills sprung out of these parts throughout the 1800s and into the 1900s. And here's a model of an early schooner that would have sailed Lake Michigan in the early to mid 1800s. Looks like a pirate ship. There are also several boats were built here for World War II. Very impressive here in Sturgeon Bay. Here is a dugout canoe that was found at the bottom of Europe Lake in Gills Rock here in Door County. It doesn't have a date to it, so I don't know how old this dugout canoe is. Probably at least 150 years old. It's my best guess. So entering this next exhibit, this is the very early boat builders, the first boat builders here in Door County to be exact, 1600 to 1800. They've got some animal furs and some history of the canoes that the Native Americans and French settlers would have made while they explored and lived in this region. Moving on, here is the 1800s. And that's when European settlers started coming into this region. Wow, and there is a model of a schooner, another schooner ship docking here. Early shipbuilding tools. And here's some history on the bridge that resides outside the museum right now. It says the bridge seen outside today was built between November 18th of 1929 and May 22nd of 1931. It replaced the wooden bridge that was built in 1887. So that bridge has been standing there since July 4th, 1931. Here's a model display of the Peterson Boat Works. Shipbuilders, look at these designs that they've got. Pretty cool. There's all the, I guess you would call them architects, I guess, for boats, but the engineers, hard at work. There are their tools for designing ships here along the Great Lakes. Wow, and this is incredible. Not only did they build wooden schooners, they also built battleships, specifically for World War II, here in Sturgeon Bay. Here is a class minesweeper that was built in 1955, so just post World War II. Look at all of these models of cargo vessels, supply vessels, all World War II era. Incredible. I had no idea all this went down here in Door County, Wisconsin. Here's a class submarine chaser, World War II era. Take a look at this awesome boat. It's a Mark V Special Ops craft used by Navy SEALs. Looks a lot more modern, I would say, probably sometime in the last 30 years. And here's a display on women shipyard builders. Early 20th century, World War II era. And here's one right now, stick welding a World War II battleship. They even have a periscope model that they would have used, I'm assuming, World War II era submarines. I don't know if I can look in there. Oh yeah, you can. Check that out. Take a look, it's the bridge outside the museum. There's actually cars driving by. Look at that, it's a live shot. Oh, it's kind of wobbly, but this is the best view I can get with the camera. That's super cool. Wow, that's amazing. That means this is going all the way up to the roof of the museum and providing a live shot of the bay. Pretty cool. I love to see interactive things like this at any museum. That's awesome. It's live. You can spy on people crossing the bridge if you wanted to. All right, let's see if we can find any invaders trying to attack Wisconsin here on the harbor. It's very hard to focus, but will you look at that? Gas under $3. This is what I've spotted through the telescope. That is a treasure of a find. Bounty ahead. I think I see some seagulls up to no good. Yeah, there's a few seagulls up to no good outside. All right, well, I joined a tour. They're going to take us to the top of this tower that is connected to the museum. So it's like a 20-minute tour. Let's go to the top. And I made it to the top. Look at this view. Wow. I'm looking at, it's a safe harbor. This is Sturgeon Bay's natural harbor, stretches from here to the waters of Green Bay in the distance. So that is, I'm looking westward, that is Green Bay, straight ahead of me. Let's see if I can zoom in on these ships over there. These are massive freighters that travel along Lake Michigan and the other Great Lakes in this region. But that is Green Bay, straight ahead. And there is that famous Michigan Street Bridge built in 1931, spanning the bay here, Sturgeon Bay. This is a man-made canal that connects Green Bay to the west to Lake Michigan there on the east. You can see here that says Sturgeon Bay Ship Canal. It's 7,400 feet long. A man-made canal built over 100 years ago. And there's the date, 1903. That's when Sturgeon Bay was built. And still to this day, it is a world-renowned maritime and shipbuilding hub. The reason that this canal was built was there was tons of shipwrecks along the northern part of this peninsula here in Door County. I'm going to be visiting that, be showing that in another video, but it was built here. The canal was built so that people wouldn't have to cross that treacherous part of the waters up north of the peninsula. And also, it probably saved a lot of time. They could build the ships here and they could just take it from Green Bay to Lake Michigan. Wouldn't have to go all the way around the peninsula. Here is a map of the Great Lakes of North America. And here is where I'm at right now. This is Sturgeon Bay on Lake Michigan. You can see Lake Superior to the north, and they're all interconnected. These are all trading routes. Lake Huron, even all the way down past Detroit to Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, and then the St. Lawrence River takes you all the way to the Gulf of St. Lawrence in the Atlantic Ocean. Really cool to see how all of these waterways are interconnected and still used for trade here in North America. They've got tugboats docked. There's some people walking there too. I don't know if you can take tugboat tours. That'd be pretty awesome, but they've got tugboats there. And if you look way past there, Lake Michigan is actually on the other side of this. I was wrong. It's further east, but this is the canal that connects Green Bay with Lake Michigan. Right here, Sturgeon Bay Canal. Kind of like this random building with a Christmas wreath. It looks like it's lifted off the ground for whatever reason. I don't know if they moved that or because of flooding. So there is an upper observation deck here, the Baumgartner deck. Unfortunately, it is closed today because it was raining all morning and afternoon. But that would be awesome. It's an open-aired observation deck at the top of this tower. Darn, I'll have to come back and do that one of these days. I just noticed too, there's a giant compass on the floor facing northeast. The bridge is going up. Check this out. Oh, look at this. Check this out. The bridge is going up. Look at that. The bridge has raised for this boat to go through. It doesn't even look like that big of a boat, but they brought the bridge up. That is so cool. I've actually never seen that before. Oh, the sailboat. Maybe that's what it is. Hopefully nobody Dukes of Hazzards on this thing. We're ramping up the edge. Could you imagine all that airtime? And just like that, it's back to a normal elevation and traffic can start flowing over the bridge again. So I wonder, does this must raise as well, the Michigan Avenue Bridge. We've got a sailboat coming. What is going to happen here? There's still traffic going across this bridge, so I would imagine that this one lifts up as well, and I think I can see where these two concrete barriers, assuming that is where the Michigan Avenue Bridge raises up to let ships under. That's not where the sailboat's going. Huh, I guess he's turning around. So we'll not get to see the Michigan Avenue Bridge in action. But man, that was awesome. Look at that, it's back to normal. Absolutely incredible. Well, here you have it. This is the top of the tower here at the Maritime Museum. What a great view. I wish I could have gone to the top, but the 10th floor is pretty darn good too. So cool. All right, let's go back downstairs. And actually, I didn't even know the name of this tower. This is the Jim Cress Maritime Lighthouse Tower that I was just on top of. And there is the tower that I was just on top of. Didn't get to go to the way top. It was up there where the windows are on the 10th floor, so almost to the rooftop. Definitely worth doing if you visit the Maritime Museum here. I have now entered the engine room. Take a look at this. A bunch of massive boat engines used to fuel and run the ships and the vessels that cruise along the Great Lakes. The Universal Super 4, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. That's a cool name if I've ever heard of an engine, an engine name. Clearly, I know nothing about engines, specifically boat engines, but I'm keeping an open mind today. Didn't know what I was going to come across in this museum. Didn't know anything about the history of this area, kind of just coming in with a fresh mind and taking in as much as I can. So hopefully you're learning something today, because I sure am. Not only are there big engines, there are small engines too. Small little propeller boat engines. From speedboats to massive freighters. They got them all here. All of these indicators here. I don't know if these are the other steam pressures. I was gonna say, I don't know if that's a speedometer, but it looks like these are pressure gauges for ships. This just makes me think of the Titanic. Iceberg, dead ahead, full speed ahead. Or is it full steam ahead? I don't know, I know nothing about ships. Not only are boats powered by motors, but some are powered by the wind with sails. I think that's what this is. I think that's the crow's nest, right? Oh, look at this little dapper boat. The Wanda. What a cool little cozy boat. This thing has got style. I like this. This old boat with style. Look at the fabric inside as well. Cushioned seats. I would totally buy this boat. Cruise the lakes in style. And here is the legend that owned this awesome ship. Roman Woodzika. What a stud. It says here that the boat Wanda dates back to the early 20th century, so this boat is 100 years old. Pretty cool, just thinking of old Roman riding the waves of Lake Michigan on this dapper boat, not only slaying the waves, but slaying the ladies too. Picking them up in style. Good old Roman, what a legend. And here on the wall is a beautiful mural of the Michigan Avenue Bridge. You can see it's lifted up to allow these sailboats through, something that I didn't get to see earlier today up on the tower. Did get to see the other bridge do this, but maybe later today when I'm outside, we'll get to see this bridge in action. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Hey, look, it's a duck boat. Get it? No, seriously, it really is. It's a duck boat. 1920s. Used for duck hunting. You guys thought I was just telling a bad joke. Look at this majestic old speedboat. I love the old wood trim that they have on early 20th century speedboats. It's very glossy, very smooth, and you can see it's on this massive boat lift. These boat lifts are used to hoist boats out of the water and onto the land to transport them. And look at this, there's a model of a boat lift. And some history on the evolution of boat lifts here on Lake Michigan. Will you look at this? It's a diver's recompression chamber from 1943, and take a look at that. There's a diver inside. Whoa, that is pretty gnarly. So these recompression chambers were actually built here in Sturgeon Bay, and I don't know a whole lot about the bends, which is that sickness that divers can come across. I believe if they descend or ascend too quickly in deep waters, the air pressure or the pressure differences on their bodies can cause them to get incredibly sick. So this recompression chamber is to help them accumulate or accommodate them to different changes in pressures. That's my best take. If you know more about this, leave a comment below, because I probably just did a terrible job explaining all that. But yeah, the bends, not good. Oh look, it's a woodworking studio, and I think somebody is actually building a boat here that you can see on display. Wow, cool to take that one out. There are 2 levels to this museum, and look at the stained glass images they have while ascending the steps to the 2nd floor. Man, that's beautiful. There is a lighthouse. I think that's an actual lighthouse that I am planning to visit tomorrow. further north on the Door County Peninsula. Look at this giant ship wheel used to steer old vessels and schooners. Wait a minute. Oh my gosh, look at this. Sturgeon Bay's tie to Disney World. The ship's wheel above you is identical to the one on the steamboat Liberty Bell at Walt Disney World. Wow, that's pretty cool. Upstairs is this incredible model of a World War II battleship. They even have little miniature figures in action. Here's a model of a tugboat pulling a massive barge that's got a plethora of timber on it. Look at all of that timber here from the North Woods of Wisconsin. And up above here is a interactive ship guiding game, it looks like, where you get to navigate a barge through icy waters on Lake Michigan. You're doing really well. Is this your first time? All right, they've got this awesome simulation game here where you actually get to steer a barge on the Great Lakes.
Elmer. Bayview Bridge tender.
The frozen Great Lakes. They're not going to make this easy. It's wintertime on Lake Michigan, and I am steering this massive barge through a narrow canal. Let's see how well I can do. It's a lot of left turns. All right. It's actually not too hard. So as you can see, I've made it into the canal. I'm just taking it straight forward, and I think we completed this mission. Smooth sailing from here. You know, it's not easy being a captain on the Great Lakes, especially of such a massive vessel. And also in the frozen waters, the wintertime here on Lake Michigan, that's got to be not a walk in the park, as they say, or a stroll in the stream. I don't know what I'm saying. I just made that up.
No other traffic traveling in the channel.
All right, so we completed the first mission. And this mission looks like I have to go underneath a bridge. Iceberg! Straight ahead! That was a close one. Try not to hit any icebergs today. All right, I think, you know what? I think I've done it again. Check this out. I think we have successfully made it under the bridge. Quote Red Hot Chili Peppers. All right, well, that has been a success captaining this massive vessel. This is a really cool thing that they have here, this awesome simulation where you can steer a barge on the Great Lakes. And I just crashed. Wasn't paying attention, just crashed this thing into the side of the shoreline. And actually, I think that's the museum right there too. So I almost crashed this into the very museum we're standing in. I think on that note, I'm gonna call this a day. I'm gonna hang up my cap. I am no longer a captain on the Great Lakes. Here is a display of the Great Lake Goliaths. Between 1977 and 1980, the Bay Shipbuilding Company of Sturgeon Bay built 6 of the largest ships that have ever sailed the Great Lakes. The biggest of them all is the Edwin H. Gott, which is still in service today, built in 1979. The size of that boat. This is another one, the Walter J. McCarthy Jr., built in 1977. The American Integrity, built in 1978. The Indiana Harbor, built in 1979. The Burns Harbor, built in 1980. Last but not least, this is the latest one, the American Century, built in 1981. And I think they're all still active. Here is a model of a tugboat called the John Purves. This boat is actually docked outside, so I'll get a up-close view of this when I exit the museum. This last gallery room I entered shows some of the engineering and designs behind the ships that were built. They call this a plating model. Pretty wild. You can see all the dimensions laid out along the side of this ship. In the time before computers, engineers and architects had to lay it all out by hand. On display is all these incredible model ships and some history and biographies on the men that made them. Famous ship modelers. Here is a model of a lighthouse. Door County, Wisconsin boasts to have more lighthouses than any other county in the United States. Very cool. This whole section here is devoted to the history of lighthouses and how they work in Door County, Wisconsin. Here is a hat and buttons worn by a lighthouse keeper from 1939 to the 1940s. The keepers of the lighthouses, 1838 to 1945. If you were ever wondering, these are the qualifications it takes to be a lighthouse keeper. You have to be between the ages of 18 and 50. You have to read, write, keep accounts, and have the ability to handle the required manual labor. In addition, you need to be able to pull and sail a boat and have enough mechanical ability to make the necessary repairs about the premises. So in case you're interested in being a lighthouse keeper, there you go. You can start writing your resume. This is called a Fresnel lens that was used on lighthouses in the 1880s and actually reused again for a Green Bay entrance lighthouse in 1935. A really cool design that they've got. It's kind of trippy looking into this thing. And of course, you can't have a lighthouse exhibit without telling a few ghost stories. Supposedly, the Sherwood Point Lighthouse is haunted by the ghost of Minnie Cochums. It says here, its guest comment book records numerous accounts of encounters with Minnie's ghost. Two consistent stories are Minnie's presence on the stairway and sounds of her teacup clinking on her saucer. Wow, I'm going to have to find where that Sherwood Point Lighthouse is and pay a visit. That's awesome. Never been to a haunted lighthouse. Here is a display of all the various methods they have lit lighthouses over the years. Here's candles, fountain oil lamps, kerosene lamps, all the way up to electric lamps today. Here's a little display where they've got various shapes that act as like a light bulb in a lighthouse, and you can see how the light beams differently depending on what shape you have. Look, you can see it's like a pointed beam. This shape here is a wider beam, it looks like. And this crazy shape, oh wow, look at that. It projects a lot of light throughout. This one's the best one. Here's a list of the lighthouses of Door County. Looks like there's 12 of them total. Oh, and there's Sherwood Point Lighthouse, that haunted one. Where is that? Well, that's pretty close to where I'm at. There's Sturgeon Bay. There's Sherwood Point. I may have to pay a visit there later. The haunted lighthouse of Door County. As they say in the movie The Lighthouse, starring Willem Dafoe and Robert Patterson, don't stare into the light. You'll see things in there. Here's a picture of Lake Michigan and a bunch of lighthouses scattered throughout. The lighthouses of Lake Michigan. Before leaving, I thought I'd take a quick peek at the gift shop. Lots of shirts, stuffed animals, hoodies. You can even take home some Wisconsin cheese. It's a pencil eraser. They also have model boats you can take home. Before walking outside, just saw this sign, warning bees and wasps active in this area. Oh no. You know, I don't think I've ever seen a warning sign for bees and wasps before at a museum. It's early September, so I think they're all gone. I don't think I have to worry about that today. Just outside the museum, there he is, the John Purves. Famous tugboat here on Sturgeon Bay. All the way to the water's edge. There's the Michigan Avenue Bridge. And right next to me here is the John Purves tugboat. Oh, look, there it is. The Michigan Avenue Bridge. It's raising up. That is awesome. Look at that.
Wow. It's pulling up the entire road. You see the road?
You can see traffic backed up, obviously. Wow, those go straight up into the air. And there goes the sailboat. And just like that, they're going back down so the cars can go across. That is awesome. And just like that, it just goes right back down again. And it's back to normal. The light's just about to turn green and traffic can continue across the bay. There's another view of that tower above the museum. And here's the John Purves tugboat. Right next to the Michigan Avenue Bridge. Doesn't get much more scenic than this. What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning. I would love to take a ride on that boat. Look at these here. We've also got some more tugboats on display here next to the museum. Unfortunately, I can't walk on them and explore them, but it's still cool to get up close and personal and get some good footage. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Well, I think that's going to do it today. This has been an incredible experience here at the Door County Maritime Museum. There was a lot that I learned about the Great Lakes, specifically Green Bay and Lake Michigan. I had no idea that this was a world-renowned shipbuilding hub throughout the last 150 years. So it's incredible to come here, learn about the history, see the ships here on the bay, Sturgeon Bay. But this has been fascinating. I highly recommend anyone to come up here to Door County and experience this amazing museum. For now, this is Eric with the Get Me Out of Here vlog. Thanks for watching. It's time for me to get out of here.